Hello people, what is going on? Mr. Challenger is coming at you here with another Dofus Unity beta video. Ankama just had their live and they responded to a lot of the feedback, criticism that people had regarding like the characters, Unity itself, animations, a lot of stuff. There was a lot of things covered during this live, and thankfully Single Malt over at Single Malt Dofus, he does what I wish I could do, which is cover like their French live podcasts real time, and he translates it into English. So shout out to Single Malt Dofus. Make sure you give him a follow. Make sure you give him a like. We're gonna be taking a look at his video translating the Ankama live that happened earlier this morning. But nothing but love for this guy. This guy's putting in the work, and like I said, I wish I could do this for you guys on the touch side of things. But look at him. How can you not love that face? But yeah, so I think this is gonna be the last video. I talk about like the art design, art direction of the characters. So even though this live, I think it stands at 2.5 hours, maybe. Yeah, this was beefy. This was beefy. They had a lot of things to say. So even though it stands at 2.5 hours, I'm just gonna be covering 2 timestamps. One that covers like obviously their response to like the feedback and the backlash and the criticism in the beginning with the characters. And there was another little tidbit in regards to the mobile aspect of this whole thing, right? And that kind of brings touch into light just a little bit. So I'll talk about those 2 points. But if you are interested in PC, Dofus, especially Unity, Single Malt Dofus is a place to go, because this guy, he's an English content creator, but he speaks and understands fluent French. So you get real-time news from this guy. So do me a favor, go show this guy some love, and you know, let's go. Let's hit it. All right. I'm just gonna play this here for a little bit.
Oh, people have picked. Oh, okay. So we're getting mixed signals here. Do you want the interfaces or the artistic direction? So in chat, they're getting weird responses. They're juggling between the two. When it comes to the artistic direction, I want to differentiate 2 things, which is the artistic direction of classes and objects. So we had feedback on both of them, and we received different feedback for the 2 of them, right? So if I can allow.
So when they say objects, I assume that means like the gear, right? The equipment, the hats, the capes. So characters and the equipment.
Myself to interrupt you, not to say whatever, but here I know exactly what I'm talking about, right? On the class artistic direction, right? So the characters, there's a lot of topics that were criticized on the forum that were criticized in the artistic direction. We've done a live about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month, with Lohko and Laka, yeah, and I'm forced to notice that we don't want to call in us politicians or liars, because I promise you that the numbers are those, and Papino will share the numbers. There was a poll, and it was about 70 to 75% that were happy with what we've showed you guys before the live, and we're not lying. We'll share the numbers.
So this is interesting, because even though there is a very vocal in this case minority that doesn't like the change in the art direction, there is a handful of people who doesn't mind it. So this is where Ankama's kind of torn between. It's like, oh, what do we do? Like, I mean, there is a significant portion that doesn't like it, but there's also this other whole load of people who do. But let's see what they gotta say.
Yeah, liars. I'm already being treated as a liar in chat. There you go. Done. We have to be. Yeah, the results were shown on the PowerPoint. We showed a lot of things with them, like customization option and things like that, and that influenced your opinion on the poll back then. But now, if we did a poll right now, there will be a lot of people we can say it, we've seen exclusively forum posts absolutely negative about the artistic direction, and here I'm talking just about the character design. We had loads of feedback that came back that were different, whether it be the lack of soul, the lack of life, the lack of differentiation between classes themselves, the feet. You guys are so strong, you've spotted that.
Of course, the feet. Can't forget about the feet.
You're too good with humor and sarcasm that reading those posts was more beyond feet. There was a post by Nenizuka who took every character and reworked the slots of colors and things like that. So just a topic that I saw about the inner Ipsa, the panda, which was really good on the forum. Really, honestly, thank you so much for those topics.
So this is what I tried to drive home during my video that I did with the backlash discussion, is that, you know, there were a handful of people who actually made very passionate posts, but not like angry passion, right? Like they laid out in detail, like, hey, this is very important to me, and this is why, right? They weren't screaming at them, they weren't demanding that, they weren't calling them names or anything like that. So a lot of those people with, again, the constructive criticism, which was like the big point in my video, was that kind of swayed these guys, Ankama, the developers, to like be like, oh, you know what? It might have a point. And some of it went as far where like they actually reached out to that person. It's like, hey, we like your ideas. You know, how can we work together to improve and benefit this for not only us, but for the community, the players, and yourself, right? And again, constructive criticism, I'm all for it. Do it. But there's a right way to do it, and there is a very wrong way to do it. And the people who did it right are the ones who swayed these guys to, like, you know what? Have second thoughts, right?
I know very well that on this subject, I don't remember the pseudo. There was a post about an Anutroph. I can't remember the title exactly, like an Anutroph angry or something like that. And here again, I remember seeing it back in the time, which was really, really, really good. Yes, but I can only join you when it comes to the feedback on the duration have not been good. I agree. Clearly, we've made some modifications. Otherwise, we would have been here if we didn't make the modifications. And really, we've made a we've spoken to the team about the character design, and we want to add differentiation points on different characters, so you can have more customization, more differentiation between characters. Sorry, differentiation, not customization. It's something that we will propose. It's something that will evolve during the beta. Horizons, what the fuck? It's something that we're working on right now while it's still hot, and we will we will propose some solutions next week. Subjects that you're trying to spam. No, Colibri, there is no, I have nothing against her. There is no idea of taking back an old employee, or there were some very bad topics within the company. We don't want to go back. The things that she posted were nothing, we never asked for those. They were not done in the right conditions, and everything that was proposed from there was never something that we were able to integrate in the game to begin with. I have nothing personally against her, and when I arrived at Ankama, I've known her very scarcely. I don't even spoke with her or something, but no, her designs will not be integrated in the game. They will not be integrated in the game, which is, I just want to make it clear, it's not something that is integrable or that we will integrate in the game. End of the story.
Okay, so let's talk about Colibri, because like her work kind of added fuel to the fire. So give me 1 second here, folks. All right, so this is Colibri, and this is the artist they are referring to in this kind of statement they're making here. So from what I gathered, and shout out to Single Malt because he translated a lot of this stuff too from French to English. She used to work at Ankama as a prop artist. So she was in charge of making a lot of like set pieces, hat, capes, what have you, right? That was her job at Ankama, and that's what she was employed to do. On the side, she had this idea. her own vision of what the characters in Dofus Unity should look like. And this is where like these screenshots started to like float around social media, and a lot of people started to talk about them. So these images, these character designs, is something she did on the side, and something she wanted to pitch to Ankama for a possible direction of the characters in Unity. Part of the reason why they look like this is because she wanted the characters to represent the aging fan base. Obviously, Dofus has a lot of adult people playing the game. A lot of them, started when they were kids, and now they're in their 30s, 40s, right? They're grown-ass people. So she wanted to reflect that in the character design. When she presented these characters to Ankama, not only were they not looking for a direction at all, but it just didn't line up with their vision and their direction with the game, right? So they never went anywhere, and these designs never went anywhere. At the end of the day, these designs were something she made personally, and that was the extent of it, right? These weren't official Ankama concept art. These aren't official Ankama character designs. No, this was her own thing. She made it. She tried to pitch it, and it just didn't go anywhere, right? It happens. It's pretty normal. So a lot of people caught wind of these designs and were wondering, like, oh, what happened to these? These were awesome, right? And that's where a lot of confusion came from, because I think a lot of people thought these were like official. Like a lot of people thought this was the direction the game, the character design was heading into, but it turned out it didn't, and we got the Unity stuff, right? So there was a huge disconnect, and I think part of the issue why Ankama had an issue with her and she's no longer with the company was that she caused a lot of confusion with this stuff here. That's speculation on my part. So this is why I talk about art direction a lot, and I'm gonna talk about branding and marketing here for a second. So when it comes to marketing, in the branding and marketing world, there's two different buckets. There are fans and there are target audiences. Fans may age, but your target audience stays the same. All right, and let me expand on that. Let's look up Pokemon, right? I'm sure you guys are familiar with Pokemon. It's the biggest franchise in the world right now. We're talking about billions of dollars. So Pokemon here has the same issue as Dofus, right? Not the same issue, but it's in the same boat, right? Where a lot of people grew up with Pokemon. They probably got into Pokemon when they were kids, and now they're into their 30s and their 40s, and they're still fans of the brand, of the franchise, but they're adults, all right? On Pokemon side, they may have a large adult fan base, but their target audience continues to be 10-year-old kids, right? Two different things, two different buckets. There might be some overlap between the two, but their target audience has always been kids, right? A big criticism Pokemon gets is like the games are too easy, right? So even to like the games, like they don't change, they don't evolve. And that's because their target audience doesn't change. Their target audience continues to be 10-year-old kids. You want to know another example of this? We have Ash here. You know why Ash never grew up? You know the real reason why Ash stayed 12-year-olds for 20 years? Because Ash represents their target audience. This is the character their target audience is going to connect to and connect with. Even recently, when they retired the Ash character, let's see if we can find it here, and they rebooted the animated series. Look at the character; they're still kids. That's because their target audience is still kids, even though they have a sizable fan base, well into their 30s. Now this works into their favor because guess what? If you're a if you're a fan of Pokemon, you're an adult, you grew up, you had kids. Now your kids are fans of Pokemon because it is very accessible for a kid to become a fan, to be enamored with the brand, to be fans of the characters, right? So I don't know. So if we look at Dofus Unity, let's see if I can type here. Dofus Unity characters. Right. So my take is there must be some reason they shifted the art direction of the characters to this look, and I hate how blurry this thing looks. I wish it was a little bit sharper. So let's click on it. There has to be a reason why they shifted gears towards this, right? Because they could have left it alone. They could have left it alone. They could have left the regular 2.0 characters. I think people, if they didn't do this whole customization, I think people would have been fine, right? If they would have ported Dofus 2.0 to Unity 1-to-1, I don't think anybody would be complaining, right? They could have added little particle effects on the environment, stuff like that. But they could have left the characters alone, but they decided to change them, visually change them. And we don't have the full picture to this, right? We don't know what their vision and their direction is, long term, short term. Personally, I don't know what their demographic looks like. I don't know if there's kids in France playing this game. Even though, again, like the Pokemon example, most of the people listening to this video are probably grown-ass people, right? I don't know if they're trying to appeal to kids. I don't know. Something's up, but there's a reason why they did this, right? Unfortunately for Colibri, her direction, her vision just didn't match up with the vision of the company. So that's where she comes into play, right? So we'll get back into their life, but hopefully that explains this stuff here. And again, disagree, you want to add, hit the comments.
So we have a full-on team that is working on the character design, on the aesthetic direction. We have artists that are working on things. I've spoken to them just yesterday afternoon. And these are topics that we're talking about. These are things that we'll propose some modifications during this beta, and things that we will better for you during this beta. This is what it's for. I did not stutter. Here we go. So when it comes to the artistic direction, we've noticed a lack of differentiation between class, a lack of detail. The fact is, between many classes, the lack of humanity. So Sacrier, Feka, and stuff like that. We have really hard time to differentiate human characters as opposed to Oginax and Eleutrops and things like that.
This is cool. I like how they acknowledge that they're kind of struggling with keeping the identity of the characters within this new art direction, and I do like how they're being open about it, because that is a criticism I share. Even though I appreciate that they're trying to do these modular pieces, this modular character builder for the sake of customization. I do agree. A lot of the identity of the individual characters was lost.
But yeah, even myself, I have given this feedback to the team whereby I said the Hopper mages, I really can't differentiate these two. Can you please do something about it? Yeah, but it's something that we're working on. We're conscious of it, and we want to we will rework them. And the big hats, we will get rid of them. We need to do a test.
Awesome, really cool. Ankama was receptive to a lot of the feedback, and they're responding with changes, and they're trying to find a middle ground. Big shout out to Ankama for this.
Get rid of that nonsense, and we're gonna redo them. We've seen a lot of returns on this thing. We've seen some images and posts and stuff like that, detailing the proportion and things like that on the.
And these posts they're talking about, these were actually like legit constructive criticism posts, and that's what I want to drive home. Like the shouting, the name calling. This is what I was calling out in my video prior to this. Right, it wasn't the fact that you don't like something, voice it, but don't go after people, because people are working on this and they're putting a lot of effort. They don't want to be talked down to. Nobody does.
forum, on the Anytroph, on the IOP. Yeah, I'm not closed to read all of this and solve all these problems. Yeah, so to my knowledge, there's a race against time, which means yeah, there was a race against time where that started, whereby the feedbacks that we knew about, we hadn't implemented them yet, but we have taken them into account now. So here, items. I have the impression that there was a lot less criticism on items than classes. I don't want to say that there was no negative feedback whatsoever about items, but here again, there were the critiques that were at the level of items were the same around classes, whereby they lost some soul, like Prespic lost its soul, Moonwolf and stuff like that. A lot of iconic items and classes and sets that had lost their way, that were, yeah, that we didn't necessarily negotiate very well. Here I want to specify, I tried to read as much as possible the feedback, the YouTube videos, the forum posts. I watched lives.
This is cool. Hey, yo, shout out, if you're watching this, shout out to Papi Noah. Shout out to, I don't know who these two guys are, but shout out. The team is trying, guys. The team is trying. They want to make this game the best for everybody, for you guys, for themselves. They're trying, and I definitely see that here. And, you know, I'm not familiar with the PC team, but I see it. I see it.
As well. But principally, I read the bug part on the forum. Oh, don't worry, the champion set, we will go back over it, don't worry about it. No, don't worry, we'll fix that. We will clearly do a new one as soon as possible. It's a topic that came back with the before after on the podium image, that I don't have a list in my mind of all the things that we will change, but there will be a lot of items that will be completely redone and reworked. Right now, as Rebek said,
it's awesome, like a lot of reinsurance. We
don't have all the items. There were loads of items that were discovered, which is really cool. And then we go on Prespic. Ah, shit, it's a lot less. Toady. The Toady that looks a bit big or too weird. The Inky Veil, you've told us about this. If we fixed it, but if there's still,
yeah, and that's the big question, the why, right? Why this particular art direction? And that's what I want to know. If that's the money, that's the $1 million question, right? Why this particular art style? Because they did sacrifice a lot of what made those items iconic. But why this particular Dofus Unity look? Because I know a lot of people are talking about how the mobile aspect, right? The game's gonna be on mobile, and it's to confirm to the mobile platform, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But no, the mobile is not driving this. This is purely a creative decision to go this direction, and I want to know the why for this. So, any ideas? You know, I ask you guys listening, why do you guys think they went with this particular look? Because I mentioned before, they didn't have to do this. They could have kept the regular characters and just call it a day.
activity,
we
things
are
like
back.
that. Right.
There should be
We'll
a little
talk about
section
this
where they
with
go
the
back to the
Portal
letter. They
No,
talk
he's
about
talking
like
about
a lot of like fixing technical bugs and stuff like
This
that.
is the lecture to Ankama. Somebody did the effort of collecting the top 4 most crucial points per issue that we have generally with stuff, and they've grouped them in one mega ledger. The first big point is the mobile porting.
Okay, here we go. This is juicy stuff, especially for my touch people. The mobile porting of Dofus Unity. Let's see what they got to say.
Why do you want to port Dofus on mobile and tablet? Who is the author of this idea, and what the fuck are the arguments for this? And he had a little laugh. And what happens with Dofus Search? It's a legitimate question. Why do you want to port this on? It has always been an idea. It was always a will for Dofus to be accessible on mobile, which led to Dofus Search a number of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, so have I made of it? Have I talked about, I probably have. I don't know. I don't remember. But the reason why we have a split between Dofus Touch and Dofus, I think it's just timing. I think Dofus Touch came out at a time where crossplay just wasn't a thing, right? The iPhone's App Store was taking off. There, when at that time, when you were making a mobile game, you were making a mobile game dedicated for that platform, right? As opposed to nowadays, and this is the reason why Unity as a piece of software, as an engine, kind of blew up, because Unity allowed developers the flexibility to develop a game for, say, PlayStation, but scale it down for different platforms. And that kind of like thinking, or that kind of tech maybe, just wasn't a thing when Dofus Touch was conceived, right? It was kind of like when you had like the Nintendo, right? The Nintendo console, the Super Nintendo, and then you had the Game Boy, right? You would have to, if you wanted to make a game, you would have to develop one for the Super Nintendo separately, and then one separately for the Game Boy, and that was kind of like the stage mobile games were at the time. Dofus Touch was probably conceived, and this is why we have a split, because if they would have delayed Dofus Touch, I think a couple of years, I don't think we ever would have gotten it, and we would have gotten this, right? The straight crossplay experience. But here, let's continue listening.
Why do you want to put it on mobile and tablet? Globally, the will is simple. We want to follow the trend. Most games are going in this direction.
Yeah, and I do agree. And this is a topic and a criticism I bring up to the Dofus Touch team, where crossplay is a new kind of make it or break it feature, right? If the PC team is thinking of going down to mobile, why isn't Dofus Touch thinking about going to PC, right? And just having that extra ease of accessibility for people who want to play it on PC, right? Like, because using their logic, if we look at popular games, let's take Diablo. What is it? Diablo Immortal is a mobile game, but I could download this on my PC if I wanted to, right? And it's still a mobile game. So why doesn't Dofus Touch follow this, right? If for the big PC project they have this foresight to follow this trend, why doesn't Dofus Touch do this? And this is another why, right? Another why question, where like, I want to know your logic behind this, because I really do think Dofus Touch would benefit from having a client on PC, not only for myself as a content creator, because I don't want to be using my mobile to record video and to stress my mobile device, and I just don't want to use it for that, right? That adds another barrier for entry, right? But why not? Why not? So this is Diablo Immortal. What if we look at Genshin? Genshin Impact. Can we? Let's see. PC download, and obviously this is crossplay on the phones, right? Why does Dofus Touch not follow this trend? PC's doing it. Why not touch? So that's my why question, right? Why the character designs? Why no PC client, right? To kind of expand the potential for new players who just want to play on PC. Crossplay is the future, and crossplay is why the Nintendo Switch was such a big hit.
You don't have a single launching of a game right now that doesn't have that kind of integration. Yeah, the Chinese games and all sorts of games.
It's your boy. You know what, guys? You guys may know me as Challenger EX, but in the real world, they call me Challenger EX, the professional. Am I not on the nose with all this? Come on. Give your boy some props. Give your boy some props. Whew.
You think there's always some clients.
This is why they pay me the big bucks, boys. This is why they pay me the big bucks.
Side mobile wise. So we always had this well. Here, there's a point to make. We need to pay attention to this. I have seen many times the feedback of if there is a mobile port in, so everything. So everything that you're doing now is with that in mind. I'm talking about the artistic
Yeah. So this was another point which I addressed in my last video, and let's see what they got to say here.
direction. I'm talking about the potential character looks and stuff like that. We've talked earlier with Koto about this. We don't want to propose a PC version that you don't like, so later on we can have something good on mobile. We don't want to divide the community like that. We don't want to ruin the game like that. There is no willingness to ruin the game on PC like that.
Yeah, and I like that because like it's a PC game, and you know it's cross-platform. It's just a PC game you can play on your phone, right? It's not like Dofus Touch, where we're actual like mechanics, fundamental mechanics and design are being changed because it's supposed to be a dedicated mobile experience. What they're talking about here, it's just a PC game you can play on your phone, right? There's not going to be dedication to the mobile platform just because it's on the mobile platform. And we see this with Waven. Waven is literally PC Waven on your phone. Like there's nothing different. Of course, the UI kind of scales stuff like that, but Waven is Waven regardless if you play it on PC or platform. So they're saying that the fact that they do want to put this game on mobile platform, this is not a driving factor or an element to the decisions they're making. Again, going back to the character designs, the platform is not driving these. This is a creative decision that I want to know why. Because again, let's bring touch into the loop. They already ported Dofus to Unity, and it's called Dofus Touch, right? And Dofus Touch didn't warrant any kind of major shift in aesthetics or visual assets, anything like that. No, they did. In fact, Touch launch as a straight up port of the PC game, right? So there was nothing technical about it that they had to go in there and change the sprites or anything like that. Look, look at this. This looks beautiful. This looks beautiful. Look at that. But yeah, they didn't do a character change, character stylizations for Touch. So that's another kind of counter where like these are mobile characters. These are not mobile characters for the sakes of being mobile characters, right? There's something else that's driving this, and I'm if I were to put my money on it, I think they just wanted to make characters that look like this, right? This was purely a creative decision, as well as functionality, right? You can make modular characters, but let's keep going.
There's an incredible amount of work left to be done to bring a mobile version. And last time I saw, it was you that was working on app. We tested to see if the connectivity is possible, if it's feasible. The mobile version is not ready, but it's not even in production. It's always something that
Yeah, so that's another thing to keep in mind. The mobile app for Dofus Unity, it might be a year or two out. Like, Dofus Touch is going to be fine. Dofus Touch is going to be fine. I know it's hard to believe, but Dofus Touch and the whole mobile world and the whole mobile ecosystem, it attracts a certain player. And one of my arguments is like, when it comes to touch players are not playing PC. PC players are not playing touch. There's like definitely two different target audiences. Oh man, it's almost like people pay me to do this stuff, right? So, there is Dofus Touch does serve a purpose. It serves a niche that PC Dofus doesn't, and this is another angle why I give the Dofus Touch team such a hard time. Where like if this is the case, right? If you have two different target audiences, make it more apparent, because there's still a lot of confusion with Dofus Touch. Is it a port? Is it an extension of it? No, it's a whole different thing.
We're talking about, I've had a conversation with Todd. When he asked me when can we have this, I do not know when. We have an enormous amount of work to do right now in order to go to mobile, but the objective is not to impoverish the PC offering, just to have, so in my opinion it would harm the game a lot more to do that. And then production.
Yeah, like it would, and this is a great point that I want to elaborate on. What's happening on Touch? Touch is having its, fundamental mechanics change in response that, it is a mobile game, right? Touch isn't a PC game, a regular game that you could play on mobile. It's really, they're molding it and they're changing it for that mobile experience. And that's something you got to do, right? And on PC side, they recognize this, and it's something they outright don't want to do. They don't want to compromise their vision of the PC build, of the PC counterpart, in any way to conform to the mobile platform, right? Which is great. This is some juicy stuff. I love this. Again, shout out to Single Malt, because I would know nothing about this.
Side, if production wise would just show you bad things, the Dofus Touch is a different team altogether. Dofus is not Dofus Touch, it's a complete
shout out to the Dofus Touch team.
Different touch. I'm a producer of Dofus and Dofus Retro, that's why I talk only about these things, but Dofus Touch itself is a different team altogether.
And I get, oh man, I really wish I could do this for you guys for the Dofus, when Dofus Touch has its lives and its kind of live streams and stuff like that. I really wish I could do this. Just cover this information in real time.
And the production, game development and stuff like that, we talk every now and then. Yes, there are some questions of cohabitation between the two. It's not evident, but it's not all case. The port-in is imminent, but we don't want it to have a negative impact on the final release. It's not our will, it's not what we want.
Yeah, so that's good news. They pretty much want to get the Unity build, just on lockdown before they look at porting it to mobile. I think it's a good way to go about it.
I'll read the questions again, one sec. The error is human, but the change always brings fright and scare. Listen to the feedback. Can you please tell us what are your reactions? Immediate reactions on this beta after hearing the backlash and stuff like that. We've lived it differently. From my own perspective, my reaction is the feedback that we've got. All the questions that were there, direction, question, mobile, stuff. From my side, one of the biggest frights I've had, I knew that with the beta, we really are pulling the band-aid. We've been pushing it and avoiding it, but it was very important for us to just dive in to get as much feedback as possible to fix the. And here there is a strong feeling of injustice on the feedback that we received were a lot virulent. They were quite
yeah, and this is what I was talking about in my last video. That particular post is very visceral, right? It was very like aggressive, that feedback, that how that poster decided to go about giving his feeling and his perspective and the way he was kind of expressing himself, right?
I know it comes from a passion point of view. I want to remind you that the team is a bunch of human beings that are really
guys, well, did they watch my video? Did I not say this, that keep in mind that people are working on this project. Real people like you and I, family, friends, right? They're putting in a lot of work on this, and to be attacked viciously, it's just uncalled for, right? Why is Challenger EX so good at this? Why is he so good?
Reading what you're writing. Really, the negative feedback, I'm hearing all of them. There's a lot of truth, but the attack,
Like I said, right? Negative feedback, if you have it, express it. But if you go about it aggressively, it gets buried. It gets buried. And that was my point of the video. It wasn't to shut down any criticism. It wasn't to shut down any concerns or anything like that. But you attract more bees with honey than with vinegar, right? And this is what they are receptive to, right? All these changes, all this pivoting they're doing, is thanks to the people who had constructive criticism and they were able to present it in a mature, professional manner and communicate it like adults at the end of the day, right? Nobody wants to get talked down to. No, even if you're right, even if you are right, don't talk down to people, especially if you want to be heard and make a change. Sure, if you want to make a shit post, go ahead, right? Go ahead, right? Do it. But at the end of the day, people.
My God, the attacks on competence, on people, on teams, they were quite violent. And for me, what really happened is we had Twitter that has landed on the forum, if I had to summarize it. It doesn't mean that the feedback are not legitimate. Yes, there's a lot of truth to them. There's a lot of valid points. There's a lot of things that are true. But damn.
But damn. Somebody needs to clip that voice clip from some malt. But damn.
Like the interfaces, for example. We will work with the Eternaris who made the post to change them and stuff like that. But it was really of an unparalleled violence, and I've lived it poorly. And here again.
Yeah, and it sucks because, again, I think I understand and he understands, like, people are passionate, like, this is important for a lot of people. And since it's, we forget, right? We let our emotions take over and we respond emotionally, and I talked about this in my last video too. So shout out to this guy. He's doing his best. He's doing his best. Everybody's doing their best.
I see a question in chat. Wow, fuck. People are asking them, do you think it was justified right now in chat? And he just answered with a laugh where he borderline wanted to cry, away, saying, you're really testing our limits with questions like that and making us wonder if you are really good members of the community, generally speaking.
But what I say, toxic community. And there we go. Man, it's almost like people pay challengers for this.
Okay. And he reiterates that respect is necessary, and
yeah, respect is necessary, and
needs to be upheld, because at the end they're all working human beings and they're bringing us what they want what we want.
All right, so we're gonna jump onto this next section here. They are gonna talk about the artistic direction or the art direction. Let's see what they gotta say.
Do this, so we're fucking doing this. Let's go. Let's dive on. So the artistic direction, I'm not gonna read the entire chapter and question. The artistic direction has not changed since 2021 with the sprites that you've proposed. What is this all about? What is this all about?
Oh, that's a juicy question. Yeah, why? Again, why?
So, for 3 years, you've showed us the 2021 sprites. You've had a lot of backlash. You've done nothing about it. So this is the question that has been posed to him.
This is a big question here.
So what has happened in the 3 years? I can't tell you right now, because it's been. I've only recuperated the full project of Dofus only very recently, right? I've not been here for the full 3 years as the lead developer on Dofus, right? But so I could not test the feedback. We have a lot of work to do. We've received a lot of feedback on that, clearly, and we will work on it. How do you explain the differences and also the low consideration point of view from the community? I don't know what he means by that. hold on. Hold on. He was. How do you explain? How do you explain that you have very low consideration of the feedback of the players? Me, from one side, um, the returns have always been seen and heard, but not necessarily applied in real life. I also need to say one thing. I know that there were some topics that have come back with the character design for Dofus dungeon at the time, from Rumo le Rouge. You have to know that the question that
Let's look this up really quick. I've seen this pop. I think somebody mentioned this when I first made my video on the character designs. Dofus Dungeons, was that the game? I don't know. Maybe it's called. All right, let's keep going with the video.
that people ask, well, why is Rumo le Rouge not saying anything about what we have right now? Now he is working on the character design. As I've told you, we read questions that clearly show that you don't know what is happening. This was a good example. People are asking, why is this guy not speaking about the character designs? Well, he's working on the team. Yes. Yeah, we'll continue to work on this and better it. But in reality, there's a lot of things left to enhance when it comes to character design. And this was the third question. What happened to the 2018 works that were pushed to the side? Do we still have any idea about the things that Rumo le Rouge was working on at the time? Not just him. There's many other teams in the team, of course. The artistic direction, part 2. Is it negative in the polls that you've done internally? Why have you not worked on the conclusion that you have pulled internally and through the forums and stuff like that? As we've said, polls from the earlier this year were quite different about what the beta from the ones that we have now on the beta. Why did we not communicate that? It's a big L from our side, big loss from our side. This is why we will do a poll in the very few weeks to come. Manaya is on it, and we will get actual numbers. We want to see quantity in order to determine in reality what you guys think about the porting. We want to see real numbers. So Flash has changed over time as well. You have to realize that. But we want to do a poll to get quantity and see where we are exactly on different topics. Another question here. What can we expect on this topic moving forward? So totally, the artistic design, character design, we are giving each other lots of feedback. There's a lot of things that we want to see evolve on the character design. We're not going to talk about anything in particular, but there's things that we will change for sure. So in reality, you will see changes over the next few weeks on different characters, different designs. But we have to think about possibly communicate with you, get your feedback much frequently. Then we're really sorry to see that there was so much feedback. Like the post from Son Goku that wasn't taken into account at the time. So yeah, the post about the Enutroph, the old Enutroph that is dying. I'm one of the first ones to be saddened by this. We have shown you this during the artistic design. We had a lot more to do from that point of view. The feedback that we've got were on the basis of the information you had at the time. Now you have the beta in your hands, so we understand that your opinions have changed. We will do another poll in order to get actual real numbers. So he's interrupting. Now you can think about your next sentence. The NPC reroll will not be active right now. When he will be activated, it will be the same one in Ankama. Oh, well, if you're above level 20, you won't be able to change class. You'll be able to change class. So you will have to wait for phase 3. The NPC in Ankama that lets you change is inactive up to level 20. It lets you change class. But phase 3, it will come where you can change freely. Ooh, there's a question about the fixed skeletal body of characters that is similar. So we will make it so that there's a lot more customization on characters. But the unique skeletal body that we have now, he have been accused of everything. What you have to know is Flash. We were working on with skeletal body that were quite standard and uniform for all classes, right? It's not something that is completely new that we're bringing right now. So we are working so that there's more customization and personalization of things, but it's not the source of all problems of everything to do with artistic design and character design.
And that's what I kept saying, right? This is why I keep hammering on art direction. I mean, where's the tab right there? Yes, something is driving these characters because I keep driving the point home. You could have kept the same characters and just poured them over, right? You didn't have to change the visual aesthetics of the characters, but something is driving them to draw the characters this way, and it's not technical. It's not because Unity you have to make the characters like this. Something's up, so hopefully they explain it here.
Everything that you see or you feel like you've lost. So it's not the main culprit and the biggest responsible for everything wrong with what you've fed back to us. There will be a lot more work done on characters so that you have a lot more customization and uniqueness to be able to distinguish characters from each other and things like that. This is why and the other point is the animations as well. I found that it's we've talked about it a lot, but the idle stances, which are animations, waiting animations, so idle animations, they will also be reviewed so that there is unique between so there will be a sort of group of idols and stuff like that, like the warriors, this, that. So we want to be able to differentiate a Hopper Mage and a Sacria, for example. We want it to be so easy to
This is cool. I've always thought they were gonna do this. I don't know, maybe people got the impression like what we have in Unity beta right now, that was it, right? Everybody kind of has the same breathing animation. Everybody runs the same. But maybe it was just me. I never got that impression.
spot. A subject about identification and the immersion in game. The tastes are not subject to debate or discussion. In an organic way, without being able to explain. Oh, so he's asking, do you think it's just the community being capricious and naughty, or is it...
Oh, yeah, this is another issue I brought up too. Is it just the... or another question I posed, is it just the community rejecting change, right? Is the community just like not accepting of just changes to like the legacy stuff to the game?
A real need to have characters that we like to play with. So we've gone back over this already. We've talked about we will implement some things so that you are able to have customizations when it comes to characters, uniqueness, and a character animation that are specific to...
Yeah, like I always thought like that was the whole point of this, right? The whole point where you could customize your character to the point where like you're probably like, you won't see another character that looks like yours, right? Like I get it, the whole silhouette, the height thing, Sailor should be short, Eno should be short. I get those criticism, but I think they had good intentions with kind of breaking up the character so they're modular, so you could customize them and personalize them. That was the whole point to your liking. But yeah, apparently people weren't
to those
too hot
but
on
we
that.
really have priorities. So the True Fair is getting released soon. We need to work on that. So there's a lot of research and development being done. And at the same time, it's something that we will start next week. So we're able to produce it as well as other things. So it's something that is coming very, very shortly in the next few weeks. Do you have any other artistic design ideas to sort of remedy whatever is happening? No. This is why the idea that we're working on is to enhance and better what we have now.
So yeah, again,
then,
going back to art direction, they're not going to revert back to 2.0 sprites, right? The good news is they are gonna tweak it and enhance what they have now, and kind of, again, I said this in my last video, like this is like a jumping off point for them, right? A lot of stuff is placeholder, because you're talking about how many, so there's what, 19 classes, right? 19 classes. They'll let's just start. Each one's gonna have an idle, so that's 19 animations. Each one's gonna run, so that's another 19. And then you gotta draw that run animation in what, 8 directions each? Like the number just like blows up so much. But then again, it was just, maybe it was just me. Like I kind of understood where they were coming from.
Release. I'm talking hypothetically here, but if we say we're in November or October, and we're still on a feedback where,
But I think it was kind of part their fault too, where I think they gave the fans, the players, the impression where, like, when this launches in December, it was gonna be 100% done, as opposed to like, let's get the fundamentals done of Unity by December, and then let's just build upon it over the years, right?
yes, 95% that still don't like what we have. Yeah. We will discuss. We will talk. We'll see how we can better it. We'll see how we can. This is the best bit for me right here. I think this live is.
I think this is the best bit for a lot of people.
finished. We can.
All right, because I mean, the characters were the biggest things, right? That's what everybody's talking about. That's the thing everybody had issues with, and they are gonna find a middle ground. Like I said, I don't think we're backtracking to 2.0 designs. They're gonna improve the current, the soft shading character designs here, whatever that means. But they're gonna modify these to find a middle ground, which is kind of like the best of both worlds.
Go. But yeah, we will keep in touch with you. We want to see what you guys think about every solution that we implement. I can't say that everything will change directly, but and now there's a question about costumes. Surely there are some solutions to have costumes without destroying animations and things like that. 2024 of loss of tech, surely. Yes, it's a point that I've forgotten, but we've talked about it yesterday. And we will have to go back on the size of characters. So, there will be a big differentiation between characters. So the Anutrophs are very likely to be smaller than what we have right now. Some characters might grow bigger. So yeah, there will be another piece of work that will be done on characters and their design and stuff like that to give them back life. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
So hype.
Stay with us, Rebek. He's fallen asleep. Mono account and multi account. I've taken
Alright,
note
guys,
of this.
I think that's the end of the design discussion here. Give me 1 second. Alright, let's wrap this up, guys. And this is probably going to be the last video I make on this topic, on this whole Unity thing, character design, art direction. I think this was a very good live. I think this instilled a lot of reassurance into people, a lot of confidence that Ankama is listening, Ankama is hearing to the feedback, and they're perceptive to it, and they're willing to implement it, which is really cool. You guys saw, they are going to work on the characters. They're not going to stay like this. At the end of the day, again, I want to drive the point home. People are working on this. They're putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this project. They want to make it the best. They want to, they want to appease the players, appease themselves. You gotta make compromises here and there, and you gotta find a middle ground. Ankama went about it the right way. This was excellent. They responded with open hands. This was so cool. This is like Ankama history right here. This is like developer community coming together just to make a badass project that everybody enjoys. This is so cool to see. I love it. This just put a whole big smile. And shout out to Single Malt again. Give the guy some love. If it wasn't for him, I would have no idea what the heck was going on. I have no idea what the back and forth, the tug of war that's been going on with people giving their feedback, and then man, this is crazy. What a time to be a Dofus fan right now. This is super exciting, but I'm excited. I'm glad to see a lot of the response was very positive, I would say. And the fact that, they're going to take a second look at the characters, which, I think they should, right? I get what they're going for and everything, but, if they can make them better, why not, right? If they can make them better, why not? Let this project be the best it can be. So, we'll wrap it up there. We'll wrap it up there. I guess they keep talking. I'm sure they talk about technical stuff with Unity, gameplay stuff with Unity. I just wanted to focus on the art direction stuff and the mobile stuff here. But check out the host. This guy literally translated the whole thing for 2.5 hours. This guy's hardcore. This guy's awesome here. But yeah, I'll wrap it up here. Comments, questions, disagreements, drop them in the comment section below, folks. Yeah, this is all good. We all want to see the games succeed. All right, we all want to see Dofus be the best thing it can be, and we always just want to have a good time with Dofus and with each other. So at the end of the day, developers are doing the best, players are expressing their opinions, stuff is being, I don't know, I'll leave it up there, guys. But yeah, this was cool. I'm happy I was able to cover this. Again, thank you to Single Malt. Big round of applause for that guy. But yeah, you guys take care of yourself. Hope you guys have a good day, good night, whatever you are. Take care of yourself, and peace.